Hi, so today we're going to be going through my journal setup. Nobody asked for this, but I look at a lot of other people's videos on what they do with their journals, how they set up their productivity systems and stuff like that. So I thought I'd dip my toe in and show what I've got going on. Always subject to change, but it's taken me quite a while to get this set up and it's working well for me now. So I thought maybe it would be useful for someone else to have a look too. Hi, I'm Maris. I'm a counselling psychology doctoral student living in London, and on this channel we talk about psychology, mental health and anything I think you might find interesting or useful. Remember, nothing you see on social media or the internet is a replacement for therapy. I'm going to show this on a close-up, like above view in a bit, but I thought I'd walk you through my kind of journey and how I got to this version of my journaling setup. So I got my list, of course. What did I kind of start with? I actually had many different ways of journaling that have changed over time, and I think what I was looking for is one perfect system that would work everywhere, and that just wasn't happening really. So I had one single bullet journal for everything. You can look up that method, maybe I'll talk about it in another video if you want me to, but there's loads out there, to be honest. That was good because it was just one journal and you carried it everywhere, and there were different sections, or basically like you didn't divide them in advance, but you just started writing, and then if you said like, oh, this one page is a different topic, you just put in your index, you know, this is a different topic, or these pages. So that's good because you don't like flick through loads of empty pages to get to a different topic. You just write and organize later, kind of thing. A very flexible system, really good. It just didn't work for me because I couldn't really make the mental shift to my different kinds of work, like my day job and then my master's degree at the time, or, you know, personal projects. And I just didn't like that I couldn't like separate them in my head when I was looking at the journal, but I like the convenience of having one journal with me that I could do a lot with. Then I used several journals, so I had loads of bullet journals. Well, loads. I had two mainly. I had the university one and the work one, and I'd either carry both or one depending on the day that I had. And I liked that because everything was automatically separated. So if I picked up the university book, that was all I was thinking about in terms of that journal, and vice versa for the personal stuff. Personal and work was kind of mixed, so maybe I could have had three, but that would have been too much. And that's the point really, is like that system didn't work for me because it was too much to carry. If I had one and not the other, but I needed the other for some reason, it would annoy me. And it just wasn't good for capture, just impromptu kind of capture. I did that for a while. Then I moved on to flashcards. So I just had flashcards, and that might seem like a big difference, and it kind of is. But the point of that is, you know, a day on a flashcard, so it's very disposable. You know, are quite limited in a good way because you just have to really focus on what's important and just put that, and not just endlessly writing lists expecting yourself to do loads and loads that day, and just saying what is the most important stuff. I mean, you can still fit quite a lot on a flashcard anyway, so that worked pretty well. I stopped doing that because by itself it wasn't very good for organizing things, because you just very frequently need to move things somewhere more permanent. If you just wanted to write things that you don't care about recording or putting away somewhere, then that's really useful. I think flashcards are perfect actually, and I still use them, you'll see. It was really good for capturing information. It wasn't great for like managing projects longer term. So somehow I've ended up with this Frankenstein system where I've just put everything into one and adapt it based on what I need for that day. So you'll see what I mean. I'll show you from the outside first, and then we'll do the closer look. So I ended up taking out the rings from a binder, like a Filofax, and making my own system internally. Why do I like this? Is like basically everything is interchangeable, and if I wanted it to be more university focused, I just put those sections in there and have them at the front, whereas the other stuff might be at the back but still accessible if I do need to pull them out. And if I want to just use both at the same time, they're also both there. And the good thing is it doesn't have to be a whole notebook. So if I have 20 pages for university stuff, 20 pages for work stuff, 20 pages for personal or whatever, that's all very compact and I can pick it up very easily. Whereas if it was a whole journal, then I'd be carrying like 100 pages for each of those topics. So it's really good to be able to swap these out. There are some drawbacks, which I'll go through. But anyway, let's get into it and you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so here is the journal setup. I hope the camera angle and brightness is okay. Haven't done this before, so it's all new to me. So this is a Filofax binder. So I guess it's not A5, it's bigger than that. See, it's slightly more square. Maybe that's like a normal A5, I'm not sure. But as you can see, it's just more square than A5, and it has a pen holder. I removed the binder that was in the middle because it has like It's sort of proprietary 6-binder thing that Filofax has. So you have to either get a puncher that's specific or buy their inserts, which generally I have not been interested in doing. So here's what I did. So I actually drilled out the one that was already there and just found one that was a similar color that was 2 rings so that I could use any binder. Now the setup, I call it a Frankenstein setup because that's pretty much what it is. It's just a mishmash of every kind of journal that I've used that I find useful and just put them all together. So it's got a little insert here. Sometimes I keep my Amazon Kindle Oasis in. I usually have another case on top of it just so it doesn't scratch from the metal, but I didn't carry it with me today. Right, so one thing is flashcards. I find these really useful just to pick up and use for the day, for example. Maybe I don't want to do a whole daily spread or whatever, so I keep the flashcards at the top so that if I want to just take one out and use this for the day, that's really easy. And if I want to file it away in another journal or something more permanent, I can do that later. So the next, now this one's upside down, which is weird, but I'll show you why. This is a page from a planner. I think it's called, they do 2. One is the 5-minute journal and the 6-minute journal. I think this is the 6-minute journal, but it's cool. It's nice. It's not the kind of thing I would do every day. And I quite like just tearing them out. And when I feel like planning my day out like this, then I'll have an insert. If I don't want to use it for like a week, then I don't have loads of empty pages or whatever. So it's nice to just be able to take in and out the ones I need. The reason it's upside down is because I want to use the other side, and then this is the daily page, but that happens every other day. I'm going to find a solution to that. But anyway, so this is what I was doing earlier in the day. To be honest, I didn't need to sort of sketch out my day in this way, but it's nice to have the option. Now sometimes what I do is this instead. If I'm studying, do a process report, like that'll be the title of what I need to do. And then this template comes from, I think it's called Flying Tiger in the UK. I think it's a Scandi brand and they sell lots of knickknacks and some stationery, and this is just a template I found there. Again, I like it, it's just not something I'll use every day. It's the same as this. So I'd rather have just a few copies of each of the things that I like, and then whatever gravitates towards me on that day, I'll use that. Now this is a project that'll take me a few days to do, so I just kind of fill it out. I like to have an expiry date here, which just means in a week, I have to review this. Now, if nothing changes, meaning there's still all the same amount of things to do and they're all as important, then I'll just cross that out and put another one on. But it gives me a chance to look at it and say, hey, is the format that it's in actually useful now? Or should I start something else with some other notes there? And this is the weekly plan page from the 6-minute journal. Again, I like using it sometimes. For example, habit trackers, I have a love-hate relationship with them. I don't use them all the time. You can see it's just very like, if I wanted to, I could use any of these, but if I wanted to go super minimal, I can go to something like this as well. Office Depot, I like this template just because it's super easy to fill in. Again, pull out, I could use it for the day, no problem. And some more of the templates from Flying Tiger. Then, the thing that I was missing is like a bullet journal setup. So I do use that sometimes. It's nice to just have a completely separate thing that I can write long form about specific topics and then migrate that somewhere else later. So that's attached with a band here. I made a separate hole so that I can keep a band there. So that's part of the package. And this is a reflective journal that I use for uni. I'll just show you the empty pages because it's journal content. What I really like about these, this came with another type of journal cover actually. It's just keeps together things like this one. I don't know the brand. I'll maybe put it in the comments if someone asks me. Well, it's a Japanese brand, I know. And it's what I like about this, so I might buy more, is that it's split up into these quarters, the pages. So I think there's some explanations here. You know, they say you can color it and you can tab it. So that's, you can kind of put a title here, maybe it's like uni or project, and then maybe color this. If I go to like all the red ones and see which are super important, like I need to migrate it to a different journal, then that's all set up for me. So that's kind of it. It's not super filled in because, as I mentioned, I like it because I can use this. I take a picture of it. That's something I should mention actually, is I use an app called Day One. And that just lets me take a picture with my phone. And then, for example, if I just took a picture of that, and there is a specific, I probably didn't do it this time, but there's one for scanning documents that will turn it into a PDF. But either way, this then becomes attached to my electronic journal. And for example, if this was done, but I wanted to, I don't know, just have it in case I want to review it later for some reason, or just to remember what I was doing on that day, I will have it in my digital journal. Now, this adds an extra step, but I like it because it means I review things more often. And I actually think about, well, do I need to carry this? And if I do, then, you know, I better be using it and like keeping it up to date. If I'm not going to use it, but I want to keep it, it goes on the phone. If I don't want to use it and I don't want to keep it either, then it just needs to go. It just needs to be taken out and just, I never want to see it again. So that's kind of my approach now. It's like, I don't want to see it if I'm not going to use it. So for me, this is just the right amount of flexibility, but with some structure. And it's still evolving, still kind of new to me. But as I said, I like watching other people's videos, and yeah, hopefully this is interesting for a couple of people. So yeah, thanks for watching and look after yourself. See you next time.